Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of Something for the Culture. I'm your host, Jazzy J, and tonight we have a very special guest. We have Mayor of Peekskill, Mr.
Yes,
Andre Rainey. How are
yes.
you?
I am blessed, sister. I'm blessed. Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
Cool. So, we are going to talk about a lot tonight. Okay,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's we don't always have a mayor on the culture platform, so we're gonna take full advantage of this
There you
evening.
go. And that's what it's all about.
All right, so let's go ahead and kick this interview off. First off, can you tell us about your artist lifestyle? Who were you? What was your name as an artist? How did you
Mhm.
begin as an artist?
So my stage name was and is Noodle New. And
Mm-hmm.
that came from my mother, as oddly as it sounds. When I was a little kid, she used to say I was a skinny noodle. And I hated the name. Honestly, I hated the name Noodle for a long time. I think up until I was in eighth grade, I performed at my first performance, the eighth grade dinner dance, and but in eighth grade, I kind of just kept the name Noodle because of something that happened. I walked into a classroom one day, so that's where the name came from. My father, my uncle Troy, they used to call him Tricky T back in the '80s. My cousin Alize, they
Mm-hmm.
really inspired me to get to get into the music because they used to rap and they used to my cousin Alize used to rap and dance and everything. He could rap and he could dance, he could backflip and rap at the same time. He was
Mm-hmm.
talented. So they really inspired me to take music to another level and they helped me write my first rhyme and everything. So that's where it all began. And it's just been in my heart ever since. It's been in my heart ever since.
Okay. So, what was your first track as an artist? What was your first release?
My very first track that I recorded was called Perfect Love.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, yeah, me and my partner Saif. I had to be 15,
Mm-hmm.
14, 15. Yeah, the first song we ever recorded was called Perfect Love.
Perfect
Wow.
Love.
Yeah, and it was in Raheem. It wasn't even in the studio. It was my man Rahimi. He had the we was in his living room, and
Uh,
no wall, no soundproof or nothing. It was just a mic and a computer. We just recorded.
so,
Yeah, God, we
how
came a
did you
long
come up
way.
with the concept for that track?
That you know what? One of the things I learned, especially now about music, is um, when a beat inspires me, it's so much more easier to write to, and make it creative and make it powerful. Because there's a term in my life where I kind of just wanted to write to everything just to show that I had skill to do it, and it's good for practice and it's good for showcasing your talent. But
Mm-hmm.
some of the beats that I pick and choose now really inspire me to say something. Like when I finish writing the song, regardless of what the topic of the song is about, I feel like that was the best I could do for that concept in that song because I really felt powerful about the meaning of what came out of that beat when I heard it and what it brought to my heart. So, now it's just making sure that I'm inspired by the beats and not just wasting too much energy on just trying to write for no reason. I love hearing beats that inspire me. When I feel a certain vibe, I contact my producers like, yo, send me a soulful beat that I can do this on, or send me a beat where I can make people dance on, or talk
Mm-hmm.
about love or whatever the case is. And they're pretty accurate with their with their sounds.
Wow. So, I want to know, you being an artist, what prompted you to run to be a mayor of Peekskill, New York?
So I put a video out years ago called Peekskill My City, just glorifying how proud I was and how proud I am to be from my city. As an artist with the name Noodle, whenever I went to perform somewhere, you see people go on the stage at the hip hop shows, like, all right, next on the stage is, 4-5 Mike, and
Mm-hmm.
next coming up is little pop off. You know what I mean? It's like, and then next coming up is Noodle. You know what I'm saying? It's like that was always the response, and then it was like Noodle from Peekskill. Like, is this a city? Like, what is this? And, so it was. I had to go on stage and like extra show off, extra do extra good, And afterwards, it was like, okay, yo, you pretty good, man.
Mm-hmm.
But is Peekskill in Westchester? And I'm saying, yeah, it's in Westchester. Yo, just say you from Westchester when you come down here. Like, no.
Uh-huh.
So I said I was from Peekskill. So I put a song out called Peekskill My City in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always very active in my community. I always did stuff for the kids. I still do. That's what drove me to consider running for office. And the people in my community for about 6-7 years have reached out to me and said, yo, you should consider running for office. And every year I would say no, I couldn't do it. And then
Mm-hmm.
one year a lady came to my job and threatened me. She basically told me if I ran for office, she was going to ruin me. And she told me if I ran for office against the person that she was supporting, she was going to ruin me. So that was my push. I had
Right.
considered it, but that was that. Okay, it's no longer consideration. Now I'm going to do it. I'm going to run, and I'm going to run against the person that you're supporting. And she threw me under the bus, though. I mean, to this day, she still tries her best to prevent me from succeeding. She had put on Facebook at one point, this noodle guy is going to run for city council as a youth advocate, but he can't be a youth advocate if he doesn't know his own father. And it was like, yeah, and it's one of our people. You know what I'm saying? It's one of our people. And the sad part about that is, she was like adopted into our family, so she's like related to me in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So it made it even worse. Like, wow. But that was my introduction to politics.
Wow.
So that really pushed me over the edge to really say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna step up to the plate now.
Okay. So you said that you're an advocate for the youth. Can you tell us in what ways?
So I always felt that giving the youth opportunities to succeed was important, whether it be through programs that we aren't exposed to, information that we aren't taught on a regular basis. I always felt that was necessary. Just even a safe place to play basketball or soccer, whatever it is, whatever sport that we play, because sports do so much for our children, especially us, especially me growing up. So one of the things that I've been able to secure here in the city of Peekskill was to bring a Boys and Girls Club, here. So within the next year or so, we'll see a Boys and Girls Club in the city of Peekskill. And it's just one of those programs that enhance the children's ability to learn, to be proactive, to think,
Mm-hmm.
and to succeed, and of course to play whatever sports that they want to play in a healthy and safe environment. And my very first job, I used to work at this summer program where we would go to the public housing neighborhoods in my community, and we would
Mm-hmm.
provide lunches for all of the kids there, Monday through Friday, through the entire summer. And every Friday, we would take the kids to a different location, whether this Friday to a movie theater, next Friday to a museum, next Friday to a skating rink, next Friday to a park, depending on what transportation we have. But, I just always felt that kids just deserve more. And then a part of the reason I feel like that is not only because when I was a kid, I had that in my life, but I see the adults now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's only so much I can do for the adults now. They just don't seem to want to learn. They don't want to get it. They want
Right.
to complain. And our own people, we just complain and we dog each other. We bring each other down. There's people in my city just I mean, everywhere you go, you got people that look like us, and we blame everyone else, but we don't take accountability for what we do to our own people. So I really feel like the next generation, that same lady I was just mentioning to you, one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that she made was she said, but before I was successful and won, he told everybody he's not going to make it in office because everybody that he supports ain't old enough to vote.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so but
Wow.
they deserve the opportunity to get better than what I had, and we fight for that.
Okay, so let's get into this whole political circus. The reason why I call it a circus is
White
because
House display.
yeah, I mean, okay, we have Trump as our president, and then we have Biden running, who just introduced Kamala Harris. Let's start with that. Let's break it down.
Big.
What's your thoughts about him bringing on board Kamala Harris?
I think that was a major move. So one of the things that I learned in politics is the sport was the part that I was naive in. And I was naive by, when I say naive, I mean I didn't realize how nasty politics could get, especially on a local level, because I grew up here. It's one of those
Mm-hmm.
cities where everybody knows everybody, or they know somebody that knows you, or they're related to somebody that's related to you, or whatever the case is. I didn't even think there's racism in my city until I actually ran for office. I could have fought anybody. There's not a lot of racism in my city. When I ran for office, like, okay, it's here. It's
Right, it
definitely
came
here.
out.
Definitely here. I get so much. Like, you think I was running for president in my city? The amount of conversation that, I mean, there's something on Facebook in my city right now. People saying that I wasn't born in my city, and it's like a 4 or 5 day conversation that people trying to figure out if I was born here. Like, he wasn't born here, and it's like, my aunt called me and said, "Yo, give me your birth certificate so I can put it on Facebook." No, I don't care if the people think. Matter of fact, if they ask you where I was born, tell them Australia. I don't got to prove to these people where I was. That's just ridiculous. But
Right.
they didn't know I was born in Peekskill. But it's just, it is what it is. But when he pulled her in, the optics looks good because you have a lot of people that want to see a woman in position. Like the president's position. Like a position like the president. A lot of people are fighting for that right now. I don't know how long it's going to last for some people, but it lasts forever for us. But right now, for some people, Black Lives Matter is important. So he has a woman that's considered, that's a Black woman from Oakland, California. The optics of that move looks really good. And after his comment on a Breakfast Club telling people if they didn't support him over Trump in 2020, you ain't Black. That was probably the smartest move he can do for the optics. And I tell people all the time, in 2020 and forward, the fight for Black people is up here. And if we can't realize what's in front of us, or if we don't have the ability to think for ourselves, you see something on Facebook, you see something on News 12 and News 5, if that's the reality, then we're not going to get as far as we can. And by making that move, the optics look really good. And I honestly think, I don't know what his intentions are, but that was a very smart strategic move. And I would only hope that, seeing her work, that she would stick to doing what she said she would do for the people.
Now, what do you say about because it's no secret, a lot of our people do not care for Kamala. And that is due to, her involvement with imprisoning so many African American males. What do you say to our community that, are a bit worried about her coming on board?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's one of the messages that I try to teach in my, I guess, to my followers and supporters and constituents and even haters is, you don't have to rely on your vote forever to make a change. When I ran my first campaign as mayor, I told, I met at my man Rob's spot, the juice bar, PK Blends, and I told people, y'all don't have to vote for me, but don't just sit there and not be involved. There's a guy who lives in my city who put on his Facebook page a couple of weeks ago. He was saying, "Oh, they're going to gentrify us. They're going to get us out. The Democrats don't care about us." And the thing that bothered me about his comment was not his opinion. That's fine. If you want to try to convince everybody that I'm going to get rid of my people, that's fine. But the thing that bothered me the most was the building that he's talking about getting rid of is the one he lives in. So wouldn't you want to step up and do something about it? Now a Facebook post is equivalent to being an activist. And the second thing about that is there's a board that negotiates what happens to public housing in your city. It's called the Housing Board. They meet in the building that you live in, and you don't even go to the meetings. So our people, it's up here. It's psychological. So it's easy to say they're doing this because that deflects the reality of the situation when they can say, wait a minute, what am I doing about it? They're going to get rid of us in the building I live in. They're going to get rid of. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable saying they're going to get rid of us without saying they're going to get rid of us, and I'm going to get involved to make sure that it doesn't happen, or I'm going to at least step up to the plate and try. But our people are so accustomed to saying you, them, and I always ask the question, who is they, and what are you going to do? Can you become a they? Because in the 60s, it made sense to do that because we didn't have the right to vote. And if we had when we got the right to vote, we couldn't be in elected official positions. We couldn't serve on boards. We couldn't eat at restaurants. We couldn't play in the sports. Now, you're still saying they in 2020. In 1968, that made a lot of sense. In 2020, you don't got to say they no more. You can say we are going to stop it. I'm going to get on the housing authority board, and I'm gonna. And you know what's crazy about that too? If that board requires two tenants that live in public housing to be on the board. They need two people's voices at least that represent the community to be on the board, and you can't even keep that board full. No, but that's the old mentality of let's just blame, because as long as I'm talking about who I could blame, people will never realize that I'm not willing to step up.
You got a valid point there. Very valid point. So let's skip over to our great president.
Let's
Some
do it.
some tend to think, um, Mr. Trump.
45,
Um,
45.
right, 45. um, let's start with the handling of COVID-19. In your honest opinion, do you think that he handled the entire situation well or not?
I don't think he handled it well at all, and I think there's two reasons why I feel that way. One is because he admitted that he didn't even think it was real. I mean, he made a few statements about it being a hoax or not being as serious. We got it under control, and again, that goes back to that optics thing. It's like if I tell the nation that we got this under control, they'll believe it, and most people did, and most of us felt okay. Trump said it's under control, fine. And then a week later, you hear there's 8,000 deaths a day in New York State. Okay, that doesn't sound like under control. Now you hear it spread to Florida, it spread to North Carolina, it spread to Texas. He said it was under control. Like, I'm a little confused. And on top of that, Governor Cuomo
Mm-hmm.
was he decided as a governor of New York, least I can do is give the people of my state daily updates of what
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to do to face it. So Trump's statements were horrific, and other leadership stepped up to the plate that made people feel like not only was Trump's statements ridiculous, but the way Trump is even handling this as the president of our United States wasn't as good as it should have been. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he handled it well. And this is one of those situations where you can't take it back. You can't take back this time. This is going to be forever remembered, and unfortunately, this is going to be Trump's going to be forever remembered one way or another as this
Yeah.
president, or the president who mishandled COVID.
Right. Um, Another thing that I know a lot of people are kind of hanging on, either hope or prayer or
Hope.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but their hope, this stimulus situation. I mean, this second stimulus situation has a lot of people worried. I mean, in my opinion, I would say this. In my opinion, still have a lot of people that are out of work.
Yeah.
A lot.
Hmm.
A lot of people that either are out of work, don't know when they're going back, or either they have lost their job completely.
Hmm.
Um, what's your thoughts about this whole stimulus and this unemployment for 400? Like, what is your thoughts?
It's a step towards what people need, and the for years and years and hundreds of years and decades of years, you try to find a way to help the people who are less fortunate succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And the less fortunate people, those of us who are on the bottom of the totem pole, you
Mm-hmm.
know, us asking for assistance is like we're the worst people in the world. We're bottom feeders. We're lazy. We're this. We're that. Now that a lot more people need help, people are like, we need to find ways to help them. So I say
Mm-hmm.
that to say, for some of us, this isn't necessarily new. It's not like we woke up one day, and the pandemic made everything hard for us to get by. Like there were some challenges for us to get by as it is. You know,
Right.
and part of the reason why I say we got to give so much to our kids, because our kids need to be educated. Because the stuff that I see that people are teaching our people now. I mean, I've ran into activists that'll come up to me and tell me, man, I'm glad you're the mayor, but the white man ain't gonna let you do nothing else. He ain't gonna let me do what? Who? And they'll tell you the white man will look at you, the mayor. We only got 3 black businesses. Actually, we got 38. But regardless, what does the white man have to do with that? Well, the white man won't let us bring no businesses in here. I wanted to bring a business. Show me your proposal. And when you say show me your proposal, that's when you hear crickets and dead mice, because nobody has actually taken that step forward. So giving our kids these opportunities, so in 20 years when my children are grown, they can actually start to think and say, this is what we need to do, because the pandemic is new to some. But prior to pandemic, a lot of us were trying to figure out how we're going to pay our rent. A lot of us were trying to figure out, is this job going to keep me here? Is this job even worth it? I'm working 40 hours a week, coming home with $300, $300 a week. Is it even worth it at the end of the day? But we just needed a job. So, I think it's a step in the right direction. And hopefully when pandemic slows down and pandemic comes close to an end, people start to say, you know what, we should try to keep this going and find ways to support people that need it. Because not everybody is taking advantage. Not everybody's lazy.
That's true. Very true. Um, as being the mayor of Peekskill, New York, how have the people of Peekskill been coping with the whole COVID-19, being out of work, just across the board?
Yeah. So I guess there's three answers to that question. The first answer is, I've never seen so many people from different backgrounds, different political preferences, different beliefs unify like I've seen them do during this COVID crisis. I mean, people that I know for a fact voted against me would call me and say, hey, we want to do this, can you help us? Or, hey, we want to do this, would you like to come be a part of it? It's like, of course. And it's vice versa, like, I'm also going to do this, would you want to do that? Or I'd reach out to people that probably wouldn't have spoken to me if it weren't for COVID and said, I want to host this event, I would love your support. Oh, absolutely, we're going to bring bags, we're going to bring carrots and vegetables and whatever else. Like, it's shown me a unity that I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And my city is unique because I know a lot of the people personally. I know some of the Republicans, Democrats. I know some of the Christian Baptists and Catholics. And it's like we're a lot of these opposites really came together during this time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good answer. I've never seen unity like this, and I hope afterwards we can remember that. The other answer is, people are stressed.
Mm-hmm.
People are really, really stressed. Our youth frustrated. They didn't, we got to stay inside the entire summer, and then we don't know if this is going to be happening until the winter. And when winter comes, it's going to be too cold to go outside. It snows in New York, so it's hard to deal with. So we try to push the importance of understanding signs of mental stress and mental health conditions, because that's where all of this can lead to. Then you got financial issues, and the government executive orders is kind of giving us like a band-aid. But when the executive orders are over, those landlords are going to have to pay who they have to pay.
Right.
So it's going to be, I'm thankful for the leadership, but it's going to be a challenge and the fear of it. And lastly, it's giving people so much more time to sit at home on their computer, sit at home and watch the news, sit at home and look at YouTube. And unfortunately, in my opinion, the more that people stay on their computers and YouTube and the news, the more hate they're creating within themselves that I don't even think they're realizing. And you got some real powerful people coming on social media and cursing people out. Not because they're wrong, they have the right to, because the way they feel is legit, it's validated. But it's creating that stress, and that it's doing so good at dividing people that could really be together.
So, all right, let's get over to our next boy, Kanye.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Kanye's in the running, if that's what you want to call it. you had to get a drink on that one. Huh? Had to get a drink.
Cranberry juice though.
So let me ask you this: what is just your thought period first of him running? Do you think he has a chance? I mean,
I think Kanye's heart is in the right place. I think that he sees Kanye is a creative person, and creative people, artists especially, in my opinion, they see things. Their perception of things is a lot different than the average person, in my opinion. And I think he sees something that's there. I just don't think that I don't think that he has the emotional support that he needs, because there's a lot of anger and hate and remorse and pain It could be from his mother when she passed, or I know that he was taking some type of medication to get through that, and challenge that. So I try not to judge him publicly. When I'm with my friends, we make some jokes. Like, this dude just said Harriet Tubman did the free slave. Like, say like, what was he doing?
Right.
What? Look, you're not gonna just change history at a rally in 2020. Like, it's hard. I can't find any evidence to say that she freed the slaves to make them slaves. I just can't find it. I honestly, and I hate to say it this way, but I don't even want to find it. Like, I believe in Harriet Tubman. She inspired me. The story that I read about her inspires me. I don't want that to be taken away. Not now. Wait till I'm 70 to tell me the truth about that. That's true. But but for the most part, I think that he just sees things, and he would be a good person to help somebody who wants to run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he would be a great president at all. And you also got to keep in mind, whatever people believe, Trump has inspired a lot of people to go for presidency. It's like
He has. I will give you that.
yeah, there's
He
so
has.
many people who don't believe he's qualified, and there's so many people who think he's the greatest president in the world. But those who don't think he's qualified, those people are kind of looking at him like, yo, if this dude can do it, if he can say I'm gonna shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and everybody say that's okay, then yeah, I can run for president and say a curse word or two here and there. I can say I'll grab you by
Yeah.
the shoulder. Like, it's really that inspiration from a lot of people came from Trump's leadership, whether you like it or hate it.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, he has. I mean, if he was a reality business tycoon star, I mean, that he made president. He's our 45th president.
Fired.
So, I mean, if he could be president, hell, I mean, Tickle Me Elmo could be damn president. Really, to be honest with you, I mean, that's the way it's going. But you have a
My
point
daughter,
though.
my daughter would vote for him.
But I'm telling you, Tickle Me Elmo would have a strong running right now.
And Elmo could dance too. Elmo could
He
dance. That
can.
man, that boogie.
He can. I mean, like Biden said, what do we got to lose? Shoot, I mean, at
His,
this
his,
point,
his,
I mean,
his inauguration, how they say it nowadays, his inauguration would be lit.
right? It'd be a lot of stuffed animals and hands up but nonetheless.
Pretty much.
So, okay. So,
Kanye West.
you know, my thing is this. A lot of our first ladies, there was either something special about it, whether you love them, hate them, on
Yeah.
the fence about them. Our first lady now, what do you think she has anything to contribute to our
You
nation?
know, she symbolizes. All right, so we'll be positive. We'll be positive because I have a lot to say on the other side. So I'll be positive. So she
Okay.
symbolizes, in my opinion, a woman that can stick through a man that has no clue what's going on. So she's still there. She's still, through everything. This throwing paper towels at Puerto Ricans, like she's still there. So she's showing women, no matter what you're dealing with, you can do it.
I don't think she has a choice. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really think she has a choice.
Hey. Who knows?
I don't
But
know.
whatever her reason it is, she's showing women. Listen, if I can
Yeah,
do it,
I'll give you that too. I mean, she sure is sticking by him. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
she
they
might
don't
nudge
hug.
his hand a couple of times, but
Right. They don't hug in public and kiss and like Barack did and the other presidents. But she's there.
but see, that's the difference right there. And I mean, and I hate to do the comparison between Barack and Trump because I'm so over the damn comparison because there is none. Um, but and it's not just Barack. I mean, it's with other presidents that we have. Even with them, I can even use Bush as an example, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Their relationship as a president and first lady, you can see that they were a couple and married and loving
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
a whole business arrangement from them. That's what I get.
I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. Because in the public eye, the way they carry themselves, it doesn't seem like there's that soulmate or my partner, team partner for life type of connection. It kind of seems like we got married because we liked each other a lot, and now we're just here. So we'll work it out.
Platform. I mean, what does she do?
Um, honestly, I don't think she has a platform. I have no idea what she does, and I mean that's the benefit of being able to be a first lady. Like you're not the president, you're not the vice president, you're just the wife or the partner or sister or daughter of the president. So, I remember when they played that speech that she did, and they compared it to Michelle Obama's speech, and it was like almost word for word like that. I was like, I mean, as an artist, we want royalties for what we say, and somebody else thinking like, what did Michelle get for her to copy her speech almost word for word? Like, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, hey, we can't really deny, we can't really take back that he's our president. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this, okay? Because a lot of our people say that we are at fault because he is in office, because a lot of our people did not go out and vote. What's your opinion on that?
Um, in a sense, yeah. I encourage people all the time. If you don't feel like I'm gonna do the best that I can for my community after all of these years, and now, it's like an old record. Like, a record is hot, but you're only as good as that last record you put out. So the last great accomplishment I had 6 months ago, people want something again today. If I do something again today, they're gonna want something again in 2 weeks. Like, it has to be. People want to see your success every opportunity. The time span or the attention span of success is limited now. So when you look at situations like that, you think to yourself, like, if everybody didn't believe in Barack Obama as much as they did, they may
Mm-hmm.
have not been so nonchalant. A lot of people was kind of like, okay, Barack held it down, we good. And at the same time, I was even convinced that the Democrats put Trump up to it, because the way he was talking in rallies, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is crazy. Like, I had this conspiracy thought in my head that Hillary and the Democrats put Trump up to it because they know that nobody in this nation is going to vote for somebody that speaks like that for a
Mm-hmm.
position like this to represent the entire nation. And when he won, even I was like, wait, what? Had Barack said 30% of the stuff Trump said,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, they would have ate Barack alive.
Yeah.
Barack can't. He even now he's not the president no more. He can't go up there and say, and he can't come to a meeting in New York City and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna shoot somebody in Manhattan, and you're still gonna love me." They'd be like, "What the heck did he just say? Why did he
Yeah.
say that? Why
Yeah.
would you even talk about shooting somebody? You know how much crime is happening? It would just be spent." So when I heard some of the things that Trump was saying, just identifying the support that he had, I was like, "Nah, this is a hoax." The Dems put him up for this when he won, and it woke us up. But again, the motivation people have now, I feel the same way about the Black Lives Matter movement. I feel like we wait for something to motivate us, and we're just as relaxed as everybody else is, but we face it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So now that Trump's in office, that's why I tell people, like, I get so I get really um a little discouraged when people run a lot of their platform on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I get in office, you see, I'm gonna get Trump out because Trump, 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 Trump. So if Trump wasn't there, what is your motivation? Because I don't want to hear that your goal is to get him out, or your goal is to get this Republican out. Like, I really want to know, what is your drive, what is your motivation, and we get caught up in the comfortability of things. We get real complacent with things, and we let things slip right past us. You know.
Right. I want to ask you. Let's get off of Trump and Kanye and all of them. I want to ask you, as you being, the youngest African American mayor of Peekskill, New York. First of all, let's give a round of applause
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
that.
History in the making. That's right.
Right, great accomplishment. What do you think that you could contribute to our community for us to move forward in a more positive way?
You know what, the message of my life, I felt the purpose of my life is to inspire, and I live by this quote that I heard from Tupac Shakur, on the movie they made in reference to his life. And his quote, stated, "I may not be the one to change the world, but I guarantee you that the things that I do will spark the minds of the people that do." you know. And I feel like I want to live my life to inspire the people to do things because I find inspiration all the time. Whether it's a song, if I'm mad at an ex-girlfriend, I'll go turn on the Sam Cooke song and I feel good. I'll go look at some pictures of my children. I feel good. I'll read a book about, I don't know, leadership or something. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and I just make myself. I find inspiration. I don't think our
Mm-hmm.
people find inspiration anymore, and I don't mean just black people. I mean people. Period. Like we find so we. My uncle used to say, your mind is like a cup, and whatever you fill it up with is what it's going to be. So let's say knowledge is water. You got people that'll put hate Kool-Aid, and then they got Kool-Aid in the cup. Then you got people that'll put racism, and now they got Jack Daniels in the cup. Then you got people that'll put the media. Now they got Sprite in the cup, and there's only so much room in your cup before you can actually stop and be overfull. Now the thing is, do I really want to fill my mind up with all of that other stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want to just keep it pure? Do I want to keep it as pure as I can? I don't need to follow everything on News 5 and Facebook and Trump every single day. I need to step up and make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest message for me is to tell people, like, if I can do anything in this life, is to inspire people to realize that there's always something you can do for the change that you want to see. Like I said earlier about the housing board, the guy was complaining, oh, the Democrats are going to get rid of us. You live in the building that they're trying to get rid of. So just by stating that, that's not an activist move. Won't you get up and do something? The people, the board that meets, they meet in your building, and you don't even go to the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to blame people, blame politicians, blame Democrats. Oh, the Democrats, Republicans, they all the same. You know what? Okay, you're right. They all the same. So you should jump in. And that's what I tell people. Like, if you don't have to vote for the president, you don't have to vote for Andre Rainey, but at least say that you did something. You joined the board that's focusing on climate change. You joined the board that's focusing on youth education. You joined the board that's focusing on housing or homelessness or after school programming or black businesses or white businesses. Shoot, like just do something because there's a board for everything.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. So, all right, let's jump back to your artist side of your life because
Yeah.
you have a song coming out. It's
Yes.
actually a remix to
Yeah.
an original track by
Yes.
the name of Hope.
Yep.
And the remix is with none other than legendary Styles P.
Styles P the Ghost. Yes. Shout
Can
out
you
to
tell us
Styles
about
P.
that? Tell us how this all came about, how you and Styles P even linked up.
I give all credit to my partner Mike Augusta, also known as M Nasty. Every he reached out to me and motivated me. Yo, I've been watching you on Facebook. I've been watching you on the news. I've been watching you on TV. We need to get back in the studio and talk about some things, man. And I was like, yo, I really want to. And we got back in the studio, started writing, started recording, and it came out that this might, to me, in my opinion, some of this stuff that I'm releasing, this is probably some of the most powerful music I think I've ever written
Mhm.
in my life, and I've never felt so proud of the stuff that I'm delivering now. And I had this dream back in like September of last year. I saw Styles P go to a council meeting in Mount Vernon, and I was like, "Yo, rappers are even getting involved in politics." I'm the mayor, so I'm happy when I see a rapper step up to the plate and say something at a council meeting. I'm like, "Yo." I was like, yo, I would love to do a song with Styles P just because he did that, and it was like just a thought, it's like a jokeful thought, like it was cool, and I put out the song Hope, got a lot
Mhm.
of good responses, and I had reached out to try to get in contact with Jadakiss's peoples to
Mhm.
see if I could collaborate with him on something, and I sent the song Hope so they can at least get an idea of what I sound like, and
Mhm.
a mutual friend of mine, he was friends with them, and he let them hear the song, and Styles P was like, "Yo, I'll jump on that. I'll jump on that." So when he called me, and it's I'm still an artist. I'm still a fan of hip hop. So
Mhm.
when Styles calls you, I'm on the phone. I'm the mayor, so I'm like, okay, yeah, you want to jump on this? Yo, absolutely, I love that. When I hung up, yo, Styles the Ghost.
Your inner fandom
Yo,
jumped in your body and
yo,
came out.
we started listening to old lock songs that I grew up on again. Like, yeah, if you real, I was just amped. So, so we talked on the phone a couple times. We text messages a couple times, and I told him that I wanted to make the song more organic. I didn't just want you to jump on that song. like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna rewrite or I'm gonna write a part two. That's where the part two came from. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm gonna rewrite a verse and I'm gonna jump on it and I'm gonna send it to you. And when he sent me his verse, I'm telling you, like I said, I was calm, cool, collected. But when I heard it, I was shaking. I mean, he gave me shout outs in the verse. You know, he was in the Ghost and the Mayor. And I'm just like, it's just to be on the track. I was so excited just to hear a person that I consider a legend mention me in his verse on the track. And again, that's just inspiration. And that just pushes me further and further to do more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, um, will there be more work with you and Styles P in
I definitely think so. I mean, we spoke about a video for the song,
okay?
and I was like, you know, yeah, I definitely want to do that. You know, I'm playing it safe right now because I know like with this COVID thing, if the mayor come out with a rap video in the middle of COVID, it's just gonna, you know, I'm just trying to make
Right.
sure I cross my T's and dot my I's correctly. But in the near future, we're definitely gonna work on a video for that and possibly in the future work on some other things too. But like I said, I really appreciate it. I can't wait to release the song. I've been putting little snippets out on Instagram and stuff, but I really can't wait to release the song.
So, can you tell us, like, just give us a little inside tea of how the little conversation went between y'all as far as him jumping on the track? Like,
So like I said, a mutual friend. I had tried to reach out to Jada Kiss's camp, just to see if I could work with him. I took a shot, you know, it was like a fishing rod, just threw it out there to see what happens. And you know, a friend of mine said, "Look, I could probably pass it on to them and see what they say." And I was like, "Please do." And you know, it was crazy because like we grew up, especially in Peekskill 914. Like we look at the rappers in our local area as like gods. You know what I'm saying? Like they're we love the Jay-Z's and the Eminems and the Biggies, but when you talk about right next to home, like that's just
hmm
you have to respect that. So
hmm
my man called me up and he was like, listen, he heard the track and he said he wants to jump on it. I was like, Styles P wants to jump on it? You serious? He said, yeah. I said, okay, yo. It's kind of like that's a big
yeah.
thing. So I said, well, what I got to do? He said, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. And he FaceTimed me.
hmm
Styles P at the juice spot, at the juice bar. And I was like, oh, yo, I'm like, yo, Styles, what up? Yo, look, I'm a big fan. I'm trying to keep the mayor mentality without blushing and without being excited. Like, yo, I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to working with you. Da, da, da. And again, once that FaceTime hung up, like,
Like the little schoolgirl just came
my,
out.
I
Huh?
scared my kids and everything. It was like, Dad, it was wrong. Nothing is wrong. This is crazy what just happened. But I'll never forget that moment. And now we got each other's number. So I text him like, yo, this is the cover of the song. I mean, the cover of the single. And he was like, yo, King, that's dope. And I was like, all right, cool. And I said, once I get this out, I'll let you know where the streaming platforms are, and I'll definitely keep in touch, and we can work on shooting a video. I just want to get through this COVID crisis before I plan that. And he was like, I'm in. So,
So, when is the actual song dropping?
so it's gonna be everywhere. We're making sure that this entire project is gonna be everywhere. We're making sure that song goes everywhere. We've my manager Tanya Champagne has been reaching out to a lot of thankfully she helped me meet you today. But she's
hmm
reached out to a lot of radio stations, a lot of personalities and DJs,
hmm
prepare them for the drop of the actual song and the album. I'm doing a virtual listening party on Saturday,
Okay.
tomorrow actually, and I got about 99 people on the call. It's gonna be a Zoom conference call. I'm playing
Okay.
some of the songs for people to hear the music before I release it, just to kind of get them amped up like I'm amped up. But mid-September it's gonna be available everywhere. I just want to make sure I put the right marketing efforts behind it to get it out.
Okay. So when it does drop
Mhm.
officially, um, are you guys gonna come? I would love to have you and Styles P come back and
Yeah.
actually talk about the track.
Yeah, somebody else asked that too. I'm definitely gonna reach out to him to see if he'd be willing to do some interviews. I know that the Locks is dropping their album August 28th, which I'm
They
living
are.
up experience. Make sure you cop that, everybody. So I'm sure he's working on some things with them, and I definitely don't want to intervene. But if I can get him to come through for some meetings to talk about the hope, the message behind the song is talking about giving our people hope and taking accountability for
hmm
what we're going through so we can get out of that hope, not just hoping that somebody else will change things, but hoping that we could change things. And So I think the timing is perfect for it. So I'm sure he'd
I
be,
agree.
and in there we'll see if he's willing. We were talking about doing a performance together in September as well. So just wait to see how this COVID thing plays out.
Right. So, it wouldn't be an episode of Something for the Culture if we didn't put our special guest on the spot.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Could we hear just a little sample from you? Just a little bit.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Okay. All right. So I said, I never hustled on the corner. I hustled the system. I learned the tricks to every corner. The ones making decisions are the ones keeping the order. I put my suit on and I told my mama, I'm going to get us out the hood. I put that on her, just thinking how it was for us back then. The odds were against us. Dark neighborhoods, dark black skin. The average of the black man living life to age 35 is not happening in them ghettos we trapped in. But black kings were working our 9 to 5s. Black men were going to college and getting jobs. Black men were loving our children more than their moms. But black men just being black was kind of hard. Instead of flipping them pies, I flip ties. So when I'm in a suit, they're not preparing no casket. I had to live my life to be the voice for these bad kids. Yeah, they were afraid of us, so that's what they labeled us. That ain't slow us down or hold our goals back. I'm just trying to spit the rhyme to get your souls back. Matter of fact, pause the beat, let's get a soul clap. Young, rapping, and elected haters whole lot. The best example in this damn game. Instead of cocaine, I push the campaign. Instead of champagne, we get expensive champagne. I watch the game change. Now I'm changing the game. This is life.
Well, wait a minute. Ho. You sure you're the mayor? Are you sure? Wait a minute now. You packing a lot of heat behind that tie, sir.
Yeah, trying to get the message out. I know how powerful words are because words have done so much for me. Whether reading the book or just studying, what other people have said. People that I believe in that inspire me. So I try to use my words as positive and powerful as I can.
I know that's right. Well, who was one person that you think that inspired you the most?
The most, I have a few powerful people in my life. On a famous level, I definitely want to say Tupac and Sam Cooke. In the music world, them two do so much for me. On a personal level, I gotta say my cousin Jamal and my brother Jamie and my father. They all kind of they're like equal. You know what I'm saying? Well, I've learned some stuff from my father that he has such a forgiving heart. I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's been through some things, and I'm still trying to convince myself what. I don't know if I could handle that. And my brother, he's like drop of a dime. He's there. Whether if I'm in a fight with somebody, he didn't save me from being jumped. um,
Wow.
he's always, he's a pastor now also, so he always has that word, to influence you. And my cousin, if it weren't for my cousin Jamal, I don't think that I would have ever gotten out of that shy bubble of being a rapper. Because he was the one who brought me to that studio when I recorded that Perfect Love song. He was the one to say, "Yo, you got to go to the studio, just record it, just try it." And I'm like, nah. Uncle Troy did it, but Uncle Troy is real charismatic. I'm just kind of like a little cool, little weird dude. But he was like, nah, you got to get in there and do it. And he started recording beats on these tapes,
Mhm.
and he'll tell me to write to the beats, and I would start writing to the beats, and it really started from his push, you know. And last but not least, my kids kind of. I love knowing that I did something today that's gonna hopefully better their lives in a
I
year or
know
so.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if this song was Styles P, I'm excited about the song, not because hey, I might get famous, but I might be able to get myself in a position so my kids can have what they want. You know what I mean? And
Indeed.
I'm good with that. I'm so good with that. Give them everything they need. I'll be all right. You know.
Indeed. Indeed. I'm gonna ask this question. I ask this to everybody that comes on this platform,
All
and
right.
you are no exception. So tomorrow is never promised, as we
Right.
all know, especially with this virus going on and a lot of just the violence and everything. With that being said, if you left this earth tomorrow or even today, what would you want your legacy to be?
Ah man. I think the most important thing, well, there's two things. The first thing would be, he lived his life to inspire. He wasn't afraid of anything. He overcame adversity on purpose. You know, that if there was a challenge, he ran towards it. Somebody didn't like him, he confronted him. somebody said he was wrong, he was happy to prove that they were wrong. You know, he was. When I got into politics, they told me that they was going to ruin me. That's what motivated me to do it. If that lady would have never said that to me, I'd probably still be a program director. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what I could for the kids. Which will segue into my second point, that he cares for the kids. He cares for the future enough to love the kids now. And I think that's a very important message. And I tell people, if there was a mayor in my city like me when I was in high school, I would be running for president this year.
That was my next question. Do you feel that you would ever run for president?
If people keep talking crap about me on Facebook, you can bet your bottom dollar. I love to succeed, to piss people off. Like, if you're mad at me for where I'm at now, man, wait till you see what's next. Like, oh, you mad? Oh, okay, I got you. And it's crazy because the hate doesn't always come from those you expect it to. Like, people will hate
Right.
on a level that they don't think that you can realize. Like, I've been close to people that have done things that it shows that they don't really support me. But when we're together, they like, yo, I love you, you my man, we gonna go yada yada. But when it comes to certain levels of their success, like, I'm never even considered. You know what I'm saying? You know, they could be doing a music video with Swiss Beats and Timberland and Justin Timberlake and Madonna, and they could have everybody in the world in their video, and they wouldn't even think to contact me. You know what I'm saying? Same in the political world. There's people who, when it's time for the campaign, they'll push for your support, but when campaign's over, it's like you probably can't even get in contact with them. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you look at higher levels, I guess my first priority would be to make sure that my family is prepared. Because, like I said, I was naive when I got in politics this time, and my aunt had been told that she had a restraining order against her from some lady that was talking crazy about us on Facebook, and I'd have been threatened. There's a guy, he's probably the only racist I've ever known to be racist and be comfortable with it. He put on Facebook one day he wanted to meet me under the Brooklyn Bridge and let the winner walk home, let the loser drown. and people,
What?
yeah, he was like, yo, you think you so tough? Meet me in the Brooklyn Bridge, and the winner will go home, and the loser will drown in the
And
Hudson
if
River.
he didn't make it home, let's just hypothetically speaking, if he was the one that didn't make it home,
Yeah, he put
what
up
would
a
that
picture.
prove?
This guy put up. He's finally. I mean, like, and this is stuff like I realized this about 3 years ago. Now everybody else is like, oh, yo, something's wrong with him. But he put up a picture saying, let's look at all of the great presidents of the United States. And there's a picture of all 45 presidents, but the 44th president was blacked out. Then he put a picture of, let's look at all of the great mayors of the city of Peekskill. And then he put a picture of 23 mayors, and 2 mayors were blacked out. And I was definitely one of them.
Well,
So
you can't help all ignorance,
you can't, and sometimes you shouldn't even try.
No, you
You
shouldn't.
might
You
end up
shouldn't.
becoming ignorant trying to help somebody who else is ignorant.
Yeah, and please, to our viewers that are watching right now, we're not saying that all white people are like that. There's racists in every race. There's
No,
racist black people, there's
no.
racist Indians, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Everybody is racist in their own forthright. I mean,
Mhm.
the thing about it is how you handle other people and other races is what makes you an
Yeah,
asshole at the end of the
absolutely.
day.
Yeah. And we were, I grew up in a neighborhood that was predominantly white back then, and a lot of my closest friends, growing up were white. So, I was always able to just look at people for people, you know what I'm saying? And you start to, as you grow older, you get in elementary school, you start to kind of notice certain things. You get in middle school and they start talking about certain things. Then you get in high school and you start hanging with certain, people that look like you or just rock with what you like, or they like what you like. But as you get older and you go out to the real world, that's when you kind of really see, like, okay, this is real. Like, these people really just don't want to rock with me at all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the blessing of growing up in a city like Peekskill, where it's so diverse, because I think that blessing is what made me so naive to politics in my city, because I'm like, this is a city where we don't do that. When it happened, I was like it just hit me from the left, and it still shocks me, but I'm understanding it now. I'm definitely understanding it now.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we
Yeah.
have enjoyed you this evening.
Listen,
Um,
I appreciate it. Something for the culture, baby.
I want to give you this time to give out any shout outs, mentions, or anybody you feel like that needs some love right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the floor.
Yeah, I always this is the best part that I always mess up on because I always forget. So I'm gonna start off by saying I love everybody. I love all y'all. If you know me and we talk or we text or we on Facebook or we on Instagram, I love you. This for you. Now I'm gonna name some individuals too. I'll definitely give a shout out to my son Zylan and my daughter Zanaya and Zenaida. Absolutely, my brother J3. He'll be in New York tomorrow for the listening party. I'm excited. My cousin Tyrone, my cousin Jamal, my manager Tanya Champagne. Thanks for holding me down as always. My big brother Larue, and everybody that contributed to the Politics and Music album. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I can't wait to release this to the world. And also everybody that voted for me, that supported me, that allowed me to be on such a platform to influence and inspire thousands and thousands of other people. Because the more people I've seen to inspire has been great, but I've been able to get inspired by just your support. So I thank you all. And last but not least, Jasmine, I thank you for having me on your show, baby. I feel so good to just be a part of this show. So thank you sincerely.
Well, you know we're gonna have you back, so
Without
we are.
a doubt, yeah.
We're gonna have you back. I want you to go ahead and let everybody know where they can find any of your music, not just the new
Yeah.
music, but
Oh
old
yeah.
music, everything in between.
Absolutely. So yeah, so my first album, It's a New Day. My second project, Live and Learn. You can find it on iTunes. If you just go to iTunes and type Noodle New, those albums will come up. This album will be released in mid-September, so please be on the lookout. I'll be releasing some the first single, Hope Part One, will be released on iTunes and all the streaming platforms tomorrow. Hope Part Two will be in later September, and then the rest of the album will be sometime in early October as well. So look out for Politics and Music. And if you can't find me, you can just Google Mayor of Peekskill. My Instagram, It's a New Day, Noodle1217, or Andre Rainey for all. And it's the same thing for Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Just look for the Google Mayor of Peekskill, and all of that stuff will come right up.
Well, I know that's right. So listen, y'all know y'all have to go and support. Not first of all, let's scratch that. Cause I'm a New Yorker. I'm born and raised New Yorker. Okay, I'm from the X. Okay, first and foremost. So, with that being said, y'all support him. Okay, I don't care if you live in Buffalo. You know we don't really claim them, but Buffalo, Rochester, wherever, y'all support this man because not only as an artist but as a mayor, he is trying to be in this office and do something positive for our community. And it's rare to see our own people actually get in office and actually try to do something for us that they say
Right.
that they do. So, with that being said, if y'all friends with him, or even if y'all not friends with him, this is y'all first time seeing him, go to his page.
Yeah,
Try to send a friend request. He's very friendly. So,
that's for
I
sure, right?
mean,
So
yeah. Please
yeah, but
support.
I appreciate the love, and I look forward to coming back to the show to tell you how things are going at the next go around.
Great, 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 great. So, look, we about to be out of here. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm sure he has to go to bed with his kids, and I know I do. So, we're going to see y'all
All
on the
right,
next episode of Something for the Culture. And please, please, everybody that watch, share it alive, share it alive, share it alive. Y'all
absolutely.
have a blessed night. We out of
Peace
here.
and love.